Rabbis decided that we're going to discuss this precisely this. What's the greatest line of the whole Torah? What is the most important verse in the whole Torah? So this is what the great rabbis, a few of them were rabbis who went up to, they had religious ecstasy, they went into the heavens. I mean, we're talking about rabbis of the greatest stature. So there were three Shimons and Rabbi Akiva. When I say three Shimons, there was one rabbi whose name was Shimon ben Azai. There was another rabbi whose name was Shimon ben Zoma. And these two were known as Ben Azai and Ben Zoma because they had different parents, but the name was the same, so people shouldn't confuse them. Rabbi Akiva, Ben Azai, Ben Zoma, and a third Shimon whose name was Shimon ben Pazi. Ben Pazi, yeah. And that was his name, Ben Pazi. Some say also there was a rabbi named Ben Nanas. His friends used to call him bananas. No, it was Ben Nanas. Ben Nanas. Nanas is a son of a short guy. So that was his name. So they're all sitting in the study hall, these great rabbis of greatest stature, and they had this amazing debate. And this ties in with our section that we read in the Siddur. There we go, yeah, Siddur. It ties into that, and it might give you a clue to one of the answers. But we're reading in the Siddur on page 18. That's in the Chabad Nusachari Siddur. It's on page 18. Page Chai. It's a good number. So the rabbis are sitting and debating. So Rabbi Akiva says, the greatest mitzvah in the Torah, and he calls it Ze Klal Gadol BaTorah. This is the greatest rule of the whole Torah. What is it? He says it is the verse in Leviticus, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your fellow like yourself. He says, Ze Klal Gadol BaTorah. This is the greatest rule of the whole Torah. It's three words, in fact. Right? Love your fellow like yourself. And as we know that there was a sage before Rabbi Akiva, whose name was Hillel, famous story with Hillel, that there was this potential convert that came to the two greatest rabbis of his time, Shammai and Hillel. First he went to Shammai, and he said, teach me the whole Torah. The whole Torah, the entire Torah, where I stand on one foot. So Shammai threw him out. Then he came to the other rabbi, another famous rabbi, that in that era, his name was Hillel. He says, Hillel, I want to be Jewish. I have this great urge to be Jewish, but I need you to teach me the whole Torah while I stand on one foot. So Hillel said to him, what is hateful to yourself, do not do unto others. This is the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. Now go and learn the rest. That's what he told him. So he gave him the whole Torah, he encapsulated the whole Torah in the concept of do not do unto others what is hateful to yourself. So this is echoed by Rabbi Akiva, a generation or two later, where Rabbi Akiva says the best line of the whole Torah is the number one. You know, they have, David Letterman had top 10. Right? We know the top 10 of the Torah says 10 commandments, right? But what's the top 10, top one? Then they give you a drum roll. What's the top one? Love your fellow like yourself. Or as Hillel put it, do not do unto others what is hateful to yourself. So that was Rabbi Akiva. But don't forget, the rabbis, that's what the rabbis do well. They debate, they discuss. That's important. So the other rabbi, Shimon ben Azai, got up and said, no, Rabbi Akiva, it's an important verse, love your fellow, but I believe that the greatest verse of the entire Torah, the greatest concept, is encapsulated in another line of the Torah. And that line is in the book of Genesis, where it says, when God created man, He created man in the image of God. He says that's where respect comes from. In order to respect other people, we need to believe that everyone is created in the image of God. No matter who you are, you have the divine image. And so when we understand and appreciate that everyone is created in the image of God, that is the most important contribution of the Torah, of Judaism, of the whole Torah. Man is created in the image of God. Well, that's another good one, right? That's another very important concept. Comes Ben Zoma, Shimon Ben Zoma, he says, no. They were all very important. But every Jew knows that the most important line of the whole Torah is, and we all heard it before, someone mentioned it before, is the famous Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Yeah. In fact, it's so important. It's so important that we know that people they say Shema when you wake up, and people say Shema before you go to sleep. This is the, and God forbid when somebody is in the Holocaust, when Jews were thrown into the gas chambers and crematorium, the last words on everybody's lips was Shema Yisrael. Right? Whenever a Jew is in trouble, you turn to God. You're in the trenches. You're in the foxholes of the world. What does a Jew say? Shema Yisrael. Right? 10:7. What did everybody? All the people. Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord is our God. One. And why is that so important? It's the concept of monotheism. This was the contribution of Jews to the world. The belief in ethical monotheism. Monotheism is the belief in the mono, the one God. But not just the belief in one God, but it's the belief of God that throws upon us responsibility of making the world a godly world. That we are one nation under God, as they say in America. That God is the umbrella, is the common denominator of the entire world, and that the world is not divisive. It's not made up of many components, and even though there are many differences amongst people, but that's all external. If you dig deep down into everything, what do you find? You find the atom. You find the commonality of all of creation is the atom. Within the atom, the smallest micro quantum mechanics, right? Everything is made up of. But if you go even deeper, you find something called the God factor, which scientists have recently identified. I know that science thinks it's some kind of scientific thing, but it's a physical thing. But we believe that there is the God factor, there's the God element. There is there is that singular energy that brought the whole world into creation, and from it evolved the entire world. And so we all come. So hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Shema Yisrael. So all the rabbis, yeah, good point. Shimon ben Zoma. Right. So far we heard the Rabbi Akiva's viewpoint. Love your fellow like yourself. We heard the viewpoint of Ben Azai, Shimon ben Azai, created in the image of God. Now we hear Ben Zoma's opinion that hear, O Israel, the Lord is a God, the Lord is one. So it says in the Gemara, it's based on a Bright and Torah Kohanim, but the more expanded version of it is brought down in a sefer 500 years ago, a sefer which collects all the Agada, all the stories and the legends of the Talmud. It's known as Ein Yankov. So in the introduction to Ein Yankov, the author of the Ein Yaakov brings an expanded version of this story, and part of the story is as follows: that in the Beit Medrash, then There was the fourth rabbi, the third Shimon. We had Shimon ben Zoma, Shimon ben Azai, and who was the third? The third Shimon was Shimon. Somebody help me here. I said his name before. Shimon ben who? My head's going. Yeah. See a moment for a second. Shimon ben Pazi, Pazi, gold. Yeah, Pazi means gold. Zahav. Shimon ben Pazi, Shimon the son of Pazi. He stood up, he says, on his 2 feet in front of everybody. There was all the great rabbis, maybe even more senior rabbis standing there. And he said, Shimon ben Pazi said, no, it's another verse. And he quotes one of the most obscure sections of the whole Torah. Not obscure, but unlikely section of the whole Torah. He says, this is the most important thing, rabbis, in the entire Torah. The verse that one sheep was brought in the morning, that they brought for the daily sacrifice one sheep in the morning, and the second sheep shall be brought in the afternoon. Yeah, this is the verse in page 18. You could see it, the bottom paragraph, the fourth verse. The one sheep it was sacrificed in the morning, and one sheep in the afternoon. And everybody's looking at him like, what is this? What's going on? What's so big about the sheep? What's so important about one sheep in the morning and one sheep in the afternoon? By the way, you should know that the reason why we pray, the daily prayers, is after the temple was destroyed, our sages taught us that to take the place of the daily sacrifices, the morning sacrifice, the afternoon sacrifice, and the burning of the fat of the animal overnight, there are 3 prayers. There's the morning prayer, which is shacharit, the afternoon prayer, which is mincha, and then you have the evening prayer, which is ma'ariv. That these prayers substitute for the daily sacrifices, which we don't have today. Must have discussed that before as well. That we spoke to you last week or 2 weeks ago about the verse that says, "Uneshalma parim sfaseinu," that our lips will take the place of the bullocks, of the oxen. So prayer takes today substitutes for the daily services. So Shimon Pazi said that the most important of all of the verses of the entire Torah is one sacrifice in the morning, one sheep was brought in the morning for the morning sacrifice, and one in the afternoon for the afternoon sacrifice in the temple, the daily sacrifice. No. Tell me, why is that so important? Everybody looked at him bewildered, must have looked at him in bewilderment at the Beis Medrash. They were just, nobody could, the rabbis said that the greatest verses was love your fellow. Oh, everybody could understand how important it is to love a fellow in the world. This is the Hillel said that's the basis of the whole Torah. The rest is just commentary. Man was created in the image of God. It's such a deep concept. The respect that we have to have for people because they're created in the image of God. We reflect God in the universe. Every cell speaks of God in the universe. This is important. Belief in God, we know how important that is to Judaism as a great principle. What is Shimon ben Pazi? What is it? And then the rabbi stood up, another rabbi stood up and said, the halacha is like Shimon ben Pazi. He is the winner. That was the consensus. Oh, why? You have to understand why. But here comes a very deep insight into what Judaism is all about. And that is regularity and consistency and constancy, and no such word, but and being a real Jew means that we're not just Jewish once in a while. We're not just Jewish in some part of our life, but it actually is an ongoing, regular part of our life, of our behavior, of our discipline. And that's what Judaism contributes to the world, is that being a Jew is like exercise. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't take care of yourself on a daily basis, physically, your body falls apart, as we all know. As the doctor tells us, you have to do exercise every day. So you say, well, every day. I'll go to the gym once in a while. No. You got to do it every day on a regular basis. The minimum every couple of days, they tell you, right? But it has to be regular. Same way is our soul. For it to be vibrant, healthy, effective, strong, we need to feed it every day. It needs to be fed every day with a healthy dose of spirituality. And if we don't feed the soul every day, the soul is not in good condition. And for it to be in good condition every day, we need to give some spirituality to our soul. And this was the genius of Shimon ben Pazi. He said that you have to the one sheep in the morning, one in the afternoon, means it has to be, Judaism needs to be regulated. It needs to be constant, consistent. There needs to be something we do daily on a regular basis. If we don't do it on a regular basis, we fall apart. You need every day your spiritual dose. Right? It's enough. Rabbi Plotkin gives a shiur on Thursday. You have to have a shiur on Wednesday. You need to have a shiur on Tuesday. You need to have a Monday and Sunday and Shabbos and Friday. You need to have every day some infusion, an injection. That's why men have to put on tefillin every day. Women has to daven every day. And not just once a day, but a few times a day. As the prayers go, Erev Aveikat Tzedayim, evening, morning, afternoon, we always have to be thankful to God and reconnect. And the moment we stop doing it, we lose it. And so Shimon ben Pazi says that this is the greatest contribution of Judaism. That Judaism is not just a subject, it's a way of life. It's a part of our existence. It's interesting that in other religions, everything is decompartmentalized. What do I mean, decompartmentalized? But the Christians, you have a Sunday. That's when you have to be a good Christian. The other days of the week, you're off. And Jews will have a Shabbos too, but they teach us that it's every day you have to go to shul, every day you have to daven, every day, right? So that's in time. Same thing in space. And people of the world, they have certain places that are the epicenter of the religions. You have the mosque, you have the church, you have the special places. And, even Jews also have special places. We have the kotel, we have the special synagogues, we have beautiful synagogues, we have special places in the world, but at the same time we're told, make Eretz Yisrael here, make Israel here. Wherever you are, that becomes your Eretz Yisrael, that becomes your holy land. So in space also, we don't limit it to a particular space, but God we are taught that we need to bring God to every part of the world. Same way is also in Soul is also the same thing. The soul it's not just a great priest or a great imam or a great rabbi. In Judaism, we believe, no. Every person has to say, when will I be as great as Moses? When will I be as great as Avrohom, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. So it's not decompartmentalized to the holiest people, to the holiest place, to the holiest time. No, that's not the way it works. The Shimon and Pazi's secret is that Judaism is a regular thing. It's part of our life on an ongoing basis, and it's sheep in the morning, sheep in the afternoon. It's all day long, 24/7, for everyone and in every space. That is the secret of Judaism. So now you know. It's 4 rabbis, each one had a different opinion. I told you what all the opinions were. And the opinion that the halacha was like was Shimon ben Pazi, who said the one was brought in the morning and the one was brought in the afternoon. So let's give a look inside a little bit so we have a little bit of context. Page 18. Okay, the bottom paragraph. And this is something we read every day. And the Lord spoke to Moses saying, command the children of Israel, say to them, my offering, my food offering, consumed by fire, a pleasing odor to me. And here comes another point. God says a pleasing odor. And the commentary all speak about it. What does it mean that sacrifices is a pleasing odor to God? We need to understand this. Like what is it? Like it's a good steak. God smell like you smell the barbecue. You come home and you smell the barbecue, and you have a nice dinner. I remember the olden days. They used to have like on Popeye. It was a show Popeye, and they used to have like a smell. You see the smell coming to his nose. He was all excited. Yeah. So what is it? God sees like that smell comes and hits God's nostrils, and God says, "Oi, it's a pleasing odor to me." And this appears many times. The word's called reach nechoyach. Reach nechoyach means pleasing odor. What does it mean? A pleasing odor to God. First of all, God can't smell. He can't smell. He can smell if he wants to, but he's not physical. He smells things. And it's like in the Beis Hamikdash, they had the sacrifices all day long, and it was smelled. It was like all day long, like a barbecue station. And God says, "Oh, Chaya, oh, smell it! I can smell all the flavors, the garlic flavored barbecue sauce." Chas v'shalom. God forbid that God should be excited by the smell of the. Yeah. But if you give a look at the word, the reach nechoyach, pleasing aroma. So Rashi, the 11th century commentator, primary commentary on the Chumash, so he brings a little clue to what this word means, pleasing odor, reach nechoyach, and he right away tells you in the commentary in the beginning of the book of Leviticus, where he discusses the sacrifices. He says, "What's the reach nechoyach? What is this pleasing odor?" So Rashi says it's God is satisfied that we are doing His will. So it is the nachas that He gets from us fulfilling His will. So He plays on the word reach nechoyach, a pleasing odor. That nechoyach comes from the word nachas. What is nachas? What is nachas? Nachas is not a physical thing. It's not a smell. Nachas means that I don't know if you ever have nachas from children or grandchildren or from a good friend or from nachas from something you accomplished. What does the word nachas mean? Anybody know? Nachas in the English, the people, the Gentiles, when they read it, they look at it. They say it's nachos. It's like nachos, the Mexican tortilla chip, right? Nachos. Some cheese on it, yeah. Nachos, nacho chips. What's not nachas? Yeah, it's a hard word to pronounce. Nach. This, right? You have to use your. But when you have nachas, you know what nachas is. I just came back before, that's why I came 2-3 minutes late. I had my grandson, Levi Zarchi. He had today a graduation. 5 years old. 5 years old. He had graduation. He had a graduation from preschool, but they don't call it graduation. They call it a siddur party, where all the kids are given a siddur, their first siddur, because now they can read. They've learned how to read. They've identified all the letters. And they've identified all the vowels in Jewish reading and Hebrew reading. So they can read Hebrew. And they can read out of the siddur. So they have a party and they get the first siddur. First, their own little siddur, which is dedicated by the school. They give it to them. And that's like a big party. It's called the siddur party. You had to see these kids. It's like a nachas. Every parent was there, grandparent was there. They're all quelling. They were verklempt. They were like, it's like you watch these kids. They're so pure and so innocent. And I tell you, it was something out of this world. To have that kind of a nachas, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Yeah, yeah. Give me a second there. Yeah. So this is a little bit of a taste of nachas when you see the kids are going in the right path and doing what they're supposed to do. So it says that Hashem, when they bring the sacrifice, the word reich dechoyach means pleasing aroma. But actually, it doesn't mean he's pleased with the physical smell. What it means is when he smells the aroma, he says, "Wow, the people are doing what they're supposed to do. They know what my wishes are, and they fulfill my wishes." So that's a nachas. So the God says that the sacrifices, in fact, the words that he uses at the beginning over here, my food offering, as korbani lachmi, my food offering. God needs food, my food offering, right? Lachmi says my bread, my lechem. It's korbani, that the sacrifice is my food, like feed the ancient idea of feeding the gods, right? So God needs food. He needs food. He's not physical. He doesn't need food. But the food, what pleased God was that the people take a little part of what they have, and they give it up for God. They give it up for God. They give up from their hard work. They made money and they bought a sheep, and now they're giving it to God. Symbolically, it was about giving up. And we're going to talk a little bit more about sacrifices and about these ideas. But the first concept is, what does reich nechoyach mean? What does it mean? A pleasing aroma is that Hashem has nachas from us that we're doing His will. Now, just to recap again, remember all the things that what is the nachas from? It's from the regularity of Judaism, the consistency, the constant factor of the Judaism. The greatest contribution of Judaism is our constant observance, our constant relationship with God, our constant spirituality. More important even than the monotheism, than the being created the image of God, and even more than love your fellow like yourself. It's the ongoing regularity and the consistency of our faith. And so that winds up today's class. I hope you had a good time. I hope you all enjoyed it. And to be continued, the Mitzvah Shem. Next week, we wish everyone a good Erev Shabbos. So anyone have any questions? We are open for questions now. A Q&A. Q&A session.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat shalom to everybody.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for the thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom to everybody.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Sei gesund.